A couple of more things I did want to mention. I forgot to mention on this shot. Um, One thing is I mentioned before about how they couldn't open the door, and notice there's quite a bit of blood on the door here. So maybe that represents that the door was part of the murder aspect of the murder aspect of the Apollo 1 burned astronauts. The other thing I didn't mention, which somebody else mentioned on the internet, was that the girls are mirror images of themselves. If you take this girl and flip her around like this, she will become this girl. So these are mirror images of themselves. Again, Kubrick saying mirrors are important. This is what this is a mirrored. These are mirrored girls, and it reminds me. I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the movie when Danny is talking to Tony in the bathroom when he collapses with the duck. He's talking, of course, in the mirror. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I know I'm mentioning stuff that's 10 lectures ago, but I might as well. I'm trying to be as complete as possible, stealing other people's work and providing some original work also. So yeah, I wanted to mention that. Alright, let's go to the next picture. By the way, again, 3 distinct lights. Next picture, Kubrick confirms you're not crazy. No 3 distinct lights, just the reflection of this light. Which, by the way, you could not see these 2 lights in the other one. Notice in this shot, you can't see any lights on the wall, but you can see the reflections of the lights here. But in this shot, you can see the lights, but there's no reflections. Again, you're not a wacko, you're not crazy. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention is these guys right here. If we look at our pictures here, when Danny comes around, what do we got over here on the left? Bada boom. And they're always, I think they always appear on the left, if I'm not mistaken. They're always on the left side of whatever scene the mirror scene. So that means something's going to happen. So again, I'm sorry I don't always point out the stuff that I tell you is true, but look out for these guys. They always signal that there's going to be a problem. So anyways, Danny talking to Tony because he's frightened. Here, I didn't get a chance to get the subtitles on this. Hello, Danny. Come play with us forever. You can see a little bit better that this is not a window here. You know, there's the picture that's askew later on. This is a fire extinguisher window. You can barely see the fire extinguisher. Notice, very importantly, I told you on the a few lectures ago to look at the window when they first showed the twin girls, or one of the times it showed the twin girls. I told you there's no lights here, and again, there's no lights here. Do you see that? You're not a wacko. You're not crazy. Kubrick is doing this intentionally. No lights. I'm scared. What did Halloran say? It's like pictures in a book. It isn't real. Jeez. If there's anything, any 3 words or 3.5 words that are more relevant, it isn't real. Okay. Here's you ready to be Alice in Wonderland? Wait until you see what Kubrick did with this. This is a TV shot in The Shining, and the movie playing on here is called The Summer of 42. 42. Kubrick must have loved that he got this from The Summer of 42 because this scene is amazing. I don't think he could have found this scene of what's about to happen in any other movie, and by his luck, it happened with the number 42 within the title. So this movie is called The Summer of 42. You can go get it, but I have it, and I took a few shots from The Summer of 42. So we will be going to the movie The Summer of 42. Like Alice in Wonderland, we're going to go into the TV. Before we go into the TV, though, I want to just show you a little bit. Here's Stanley Kubrick backing up with a tracking shot, backing up, and here's your no cord on the television set. You know, there is no electrical cord. You know, and people are like, oh no, there's one, and it goes out to the snow. Well, it doesn't definitely go this way, and it doesn't go that way. So there's no this. That's Kubrick telling you. More importantly than a lot of people have interpreted as this is not real. That's because they didn't go out and buy The Summer of 42. Go buy it, and you'll find out what Kubrick is saying with the no chord. More importantly than this is not real, Kubrick is saying something is up here. That's Kubrick confirmation. He will always, if he had a chord here and this movie was playing, there'd be nothing about this movie that was important. But by leaving the chord out, he's telling you investigate this movie. You will learn something. I will tell you something if you investigate. So we are actually going to go inside the movie. We're going to go inside The Summer of 42. Let's do that. Here we go. See if I get it right. Nope. Let's try this one. There we go. Alrighty. Summer of 42 is also by Warner Brothers, ironically, which of course made all of Kubrick's last few movies. Anyways, here is a picture of a girl with grocery problems. Here's a boy, and here's a boy helping a girl with her grocery problems. I'll help you out. You didn't bring your wagon? And here's the boy at the girl's house, helping her out with her groceries. And very interesting. I mean, Kubrick must have loved this. Here you got some pilots, and he wants to go to pre-flight courses. Get my wings. I mean, Kubrick must have been just drooling, foaming at the mouth at this movie. There's a reason he loved putting this movie inside. Bada boom. Anyways, the kid does not score with the girl. Yeah, they had a nice chat, and he's about to walk out. Had a good day, thank you. Yeah, you should. Next time, I'll be sure to take my wagon, and perhaps I'll see you soon sometime. And it would be a privilege. These are not two people who had sex. They were just two people, a boy who helped a girl with her groceries. This is the house that the boy is coming out, the girl's house. These two boys are the friends of the boy. Here he is. He's coming out. He just came out of the house, and they're spying on him because they saw him earlier with the girl, and they were suspicious something was going on. Anyways, they're about to go have a chat with him about his conquest. Hold on, Herbie. You were in there a long time. You could have dressed those bags and been out in 10 seconds. What happened? We had drinks. You're kidding. They had drinks. Joking, being sarcastic. You know. Big deal. Did she let you get funny? Did she let you touch her? Did she let you kiss her? You know, the old. This movie is The Summer of 42 for a reason. It's supposed to be old 1942 vernacular. I guess back then, getting action was getting funny. I never heard of that before. I'm not that old. Come on, will you tell us what happened in there all that time? I ain't trying to tell you anything. Which is actually the same as telling us a lot went on in there. A lot. I don't even know her name. You expect us to believe that? I don't care what you believe. I'm going home. Alright. Now, I didn't show you the other stuff that was in there because we're going to show it to you during the spliced into The Shining. But basically, what happened in the conversation with his friends is the boy is saying nothing happened in there. Nothing happened. Why do you? And then the friends are saying, of course something happened. They believe the moon landings happened, and the boy is telling them, no, the moon landings did not happen. Nothing. I didn't have sex with the girl. You know, I didn't score. I didn't. You know, the moon landings didn't happen. And this. You will see the subtitles on when we see it spliced. I have it spliced in with the movie The Shining, and you'll see it, and it's very interesting to see. Anyways, this is the television shot that Kubrick wanted you to go investigate. That's why you didn't have the cord on the TV. Okay, so we're back to the television. We'll keep on going. Um, Here's the television. There's Danny and Wendy talking. Can I go up to her and get my fire engine? What do fire engines do? They rescue people, just like the fire extinguisher was symbolism that the Apollo 1 were not rescued. Danny wants to be rescued. He doesn't want to. The Summer of '42 movie is Kubrick saying that he now knows that it's going to be faked. The moon landings. He's finally realizing that. Danny's realizing it, and he wants to be rescued from the project. He doesn't want to do the project now. Can I go get my fire engine? Daddy only went to bed. And here's Wendy providing food again. I'm going to make lunch. Susan, get back here. She lets him go up to get his fire engine. Here's Danny. Interesting shirt with Mickey Mouse playing football. Somebody else will have to figure out that. But it is red, white, and blue. It's all nice red, white, and blue. He's still a good old American boy. And he goes in there and he sees his mom said his dad was sleeping, but his dad is not sleeping. He's sitting there staring. And here's your shot that I was talking about before. Remember the shot with Jack and Wendy? Now we've got the same picture with Jack and Danny. And everybody on the internet who does these Shining lectures all point to this and go, duh, Jack is Danny, and Jack and Danny are Stanley Kubrick. But nobody noticed that Wendy was standing here an hour ago, and we had the exact same shot. Nobody will do that because I guess they're, I don't know, it's like that old joke, I can't operate on this. I can't operate on this kid. He's my son, and people can't figure out. And they go, who is the doctor? And people can't figure out. Oh, it's his mother is the doctor. Because people are so misogynistic. They can only think in male terms. Only males can be doctors. And so people think that Wendy can't be Stanley Kubrick, but she is Stanley Kubrick. So enough with that. Can I go get rescued? I don't want to fake the moon landings. I'm having second thoughts about it. And Daddy says, "Come here." Now, one interesting thing is when he first sees him. Notice the I didn't point it out before, but I think this is supposed to represent Jack dreaming. It says dreams. And it's here, and it appeared before when we had the earlier shot with Wendy. It was also in the mirror there, and it's going to be in the mirror here. Notice here he is. Jack is dreaming even in the mirror right here. And if we do one more frame, nope, Kubrick. And everyone's like, oh, a man came in here in between and took it away. I think Kubrick would have noticed if a 3-4 foot, painting was gone from his shot. He might have not noticed it that day, which I know he did, but he would have noticed it in the dailies later on when he watched it, or one of the 15 million other people, the editor, the photographer, or whatever, would have said, oh shoot, one of the men must have carried it off. No, there's symbolism here. There's not only symbolism here, there's also symbolism here. Kubrick is showing you this shot also, because this red, always red implies danger or something is about to happen. And later on we'll see Danny is actually has to try to get out of this window, and Wendy can't get out of the window. So this is a representation of future events, just like Halloran said, some things that haven't happened yet. But yeah. So again, Kubrick has him Jack dreaming here, and then all of a sudden Jack stops the dreaming. So let's see what Jack does. He wants to hold Danny. He wants to hold on to his childhood innocence, but Jack realizes that he's going to have to fake the moon landings. He's got no other choice. They probably came back and threatened him, and he's trying desperately to hold on to his innocence. Why don't you go to sleep? I can't. I've got too much to do. I'm gonna fake the moon landings. Do you like this hotel? Do you like faking the moon landings? I love it. He's lying to him. I like it. I want you to like it here. I want my innocence, my childhood innocence to survive. You know what I mean? If only I can remain a child. I wish I could stay here be forever and ever and ever. Boy, Danny, play with us forever and ever and ever. The murdered Gemini twins. You would never hurt me or mommy, would you? Actually, he's saying here, not hurt me or mommy. You would never hurt yourself. Are you sure you know what you're doing? Are you sure in the future somebody's not going to kill you in your sleep? When they find out what you did. When people start talking about what you did, like me, and like other people who did this shining stuff. Sooner or later, people might start to, the word might get out what you're doing. Are you thinking this thing through? Did your mother say that? Did the practical person, the practical person say that? No. I love you, Danny. I love you more than anything. I love my childhood innocence more than anything in the whole world. I would never do anything to hurt you. Never. You know that, don't you? Yes, Dad. Boom. What's going to happen now? There we go. Here's 2 and 1 separated by the tree, and then 1 over here, so definitely 21 over here. 12, 21, mirror. Alright, here we go. Let's look at what we've got here. We've got Danny with a sweater, blue sweater for sky. These are stars, representation of stars. You'll believe me in a second. How many objects do you have here? And other people have pointed this out. I didn't invent this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is Danny. And let's let the thing roll. The tennis ball is rolled to Danny. That means 11 objects here. Again, this is something I stole from somebody else. 11 objects. The other thing that people have noticed that these things look like launch pads. You have to type in JPEG launch pad. On Google, type in launch pad at Cape Canaveral from the sky view or something, and you'll see this looks like apparently a launch pad, and you'll see why in a second they think it looks like a launch pad, and that is because Danny's about to stand up. He hears something. Notice we've got an interesting mirror shot here. We have 2 mirrors actually going on here. There's a mirror this way, where this side looks like this over here, but the mirror, it has to do with I don't know, hell over here with a door, the elevator doors, and life over here with the green doors. So there's some sort of symbolism going on with this mirror here, where you can either choose to go to hell or life, and Danny's going to choose the middle here. The reason I say this is a mirror, you might say, well, there's a cigarette thing here, but there's no cigarette thing here. And there's a plant here, but there's no plant here. Look what Kubrick has done very ingeniously, and not to terrify you because this is a horror movie. This is not a horror movie. This is a confession. Watch what Kubrick has done. Again, there is a cigarette ashtray here and a plant here on the right wall over here. Watch the very next shot. What do we got here? A cigarette and a plant. This is the mirror of this. So we don't only have a mirror going this way, we have a mirror front and back between this shot and that shot. And in that shot, you can start getting to see something which, the first time I ever saw this, not the first time I ever saw this movie, because the first time I ever saw this movie, I thought this was a horror movie, and I think the second time also. No, this was after I'd heard things and thought people were wackos talking about the moon landing and The Shining, and I was like maybe some of you out there who've lasted through all these lectures. I don't know why you'd still be here, but I was like, whatever. But when this scene came up, I was like, okay, I need to look at this. Something's up, because I'm just like, why is Danny wearing this sweater. This is insane. I mean, just insane. And this was the only thing I knew about Apollo at this point. It's just the sweater was enough to convince me something bizarre is going on here. What is he doing? You know what I mean? Apollo 11 USA? What the? Why? This is the first of all, have I seen this sweater ever in my life? No. Second of all, have I seen it in this movie? Was he? If he was wearing it at the beginning, fine. He was wearing a Flyers jacket. You know what I mean? Maybe he loves. His dad buys him jetpack things. But no, he never wore this thing. Now he's wearing it. The Gemini twins project is over. The Apollo 1 astronauts have been murdered or killed, whatever. And Kubrick is saying it's time for Apollo 11. Jack has done his writing. He's written the thing, and he's ready to fake the moon landing. Here he comes. All right, that's the last time we see Danny for a while. And what happens? Hey, there's room 237. And here's the key in room 237. Here's another negation of, I hate to spoil change a horror movie into a confession, but since when do ghosts use keys? First of all, can't the ghost just go in? If the ghost can use a key, he can touch a key, he can touch a doorknob. If he can touch a doorknob, he can go. If he's a ghost, he can go through the door, open the door from the other side. And this, why is he going down to the room key area and getting a room key? Well, because Kubrick is saying this is not a horror movie. This is not a ghost story. This is a confession, is what he's saying. Mom, are you in there? Not Dad, are you in there? Why couldn't it be Dad? He says it multiple times. He says it about 3 times. I'm sorry, this is the only time I think I caught it on the subtitle, but he says it at least 2 or 3 times. Notice one thing other people have pointed out, and this is why that movie is called Room 237. Here, this says room, there's N, and I think there's a little symbol up here. But people have pointed out that this can also spells only 2 words, room, and if you put if you do a mirror of the O's, it does moon. So moon room is what it is. Now that one video that I told you was trying to debunk all this moon landing stuff said, hey, there's one more word that this can thing, and I loved it. It said, he says, oh, these letters can also spell moron. And he was implying that it spells moron, as in anybody who believes this is about a moon landing is a moron. And if Kubrick ever thought, he probably did, because I'm sure he was good at words. I'm sure he thought, duh, stupid, this is moon room, you moron. So actually Kubrick was also, you're right, the guy who's trying to debunk the moon landing, fake moon landing, is actually pointed out another thing that Kubrick was pointing out. He actually made Kubrick's argument more worthy. What do we see inside the moon room? What is the first things we see? People are like lamps and tables and pictures, or carpet. No. The first thing we see is no lamp, no table, no picture, no nothing. What do we see? We see mirrors first. These are images of the objects. These are not the objects. They are images of the objects. If you throw a rock, you will not break a lamp. You will break a mirror. So what is the first thing you see in the moon room? Mirrors. This is an image. This is not reality. It is an image. What happened in here is an image of what really happened.